Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and in living color today. We have a very special live version of the pod lined up for you. So sit back, grab a insert state tournament special food here, wash it down with a insert state tournament special drink here. It's time to talk town ball.
And welcome to Talkin' Town Ball. We are live for the first time ever. It is Sunday, August 10th. It is Bracket Reveal evening. We're about an hour away from the state board revealing the bracket. We are at the secret location somewhere in Minnesota. And my name is Ryan Hayes. I am from Delano. I will let my friends on the other side of the table introduce themselves.
Jordan Flick, Dassel Cocato.
And I'm John Anderson from Litchfield. And like Hayes said, it's an exciting day. We're in the middle of it all. It's there's commotion already. We're seeing a few state board members already kind of, shuffle in here.
There's a pretty legit food feet over there, and I see Kenny Vogt from El Rosa first in line as usual.
No surprise.
Yeah, he's over there. We had to make sure he gets his sandwich over there. Yeah, a little extra mayo.
There's a good spread. There's a good spread.
Yeah,
they do it up right.
We're gonna have fun tonight.
100%.
But I have to start the show with an apology.
Oh no.
Yesterday I sent out a tweet in the morning, and when I got to Watertown for our game against Watertown, talking to some individuals from Young America, Norwood, and Plato, they're like, Hazer, what was up with that tweet? And I'm like, okay, so first of all, John and Jordan across the table.
Yep.
Dassel Cocato played Litchfield yesterday. Winner's going to go to state tournament. Loser not going to go to state tournament. So I kind of made it seem like I have to pick between mom and dad splitting up. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like, I apologize if I offended somebody. I'm going to just straight up apologize.
Yeah.
Because I know some people are like, oh, what's going on with Hayes? He's got a big game today. And then they said, well, I got to about the third line and the fourth line. And they're like, okay, this is starting to make a little bit of sense. And then by the end of it, they laughed it off. And they kind of understood. And we have dozens of listeners, and I don't expect anybody to listen. And it was just kind of funny that I was like, you guys even follow me on Twitter? I tweet about the Vikings losing and the Wolves losing like 90% of the time.
It's good content.
Yeah. So I do have to apologize for that. I'm sorry.
Going full notes app on it, and usually when you see that on Twitter, it's usually something pretty significant. And in our world, it kind of was.
Yeah,
it was. It is.
The day before we knew we were going to have to record this, my two good friends are one of them's going to have to be home the next couple weekends. But since we're in the apology mode, do you two have anything to say to my Delano Athletics?
Okay.
Or not picking us to go to the state tournament?
So definitely something needs to be said. Delano, of course.
You don't have to apologize. We're good.
Well, I don't think we are.
I'm not taking anything
Delano
back.
going from the North Star League to the CRVL. What a year for the Athletics getting through that district with, it was a minefield. Every matchup I saw down there out of the CRVL, I mean, you have Plato, who's a heck of a squad. You got YA, you got Watertown, and there are some really, really good teams. And to come out of that is pretty awesome. Followed that just as much as I was trying to follow our 6B and 6C, and it's just really good baseball. And, it's going to be in your backyard. CRVL, most of the, 3/4 of the 4 sites are CRVL teams.
We got one North Star League team. We have 2 Crow Valley League sites, and then Gaylord's River Valley League.
Right, River Valley. So there's a lot of hype.
Three of the 4 are in it.
Yeah, that's huge. So being that's in the backyard. I mean, these are some loaded teams, and you're going to see some big crowds for these teams that are going to get followed here. So we're excited to see tonight where they ultimately line up. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
we want to see this bracket.
We can spin a little bit of it in a positive way because congratulations to John and the Litchfield Blues. You're still alive as my favorite, and you made the state tournament yesterday. And fortunately enough, Jordan, who took over the DC Saints a couple years ago, had a really great year this year, 1 game short, had to run into Litchfield. But Jordan got drafted because he is the athlete in the room.
Yeah, on the mound, he
athlete,
is him.
That is
He
loosely
throws
using that
He
term.
throws high 80s.
Best
low 90s.
athlete on the field.
God.
So
Best athlete on the field, on the mound out there. Of all the DC Saints, if you're going to pick an athlete out of the bunch, it's Jordan Flick.
It is not.
That is just strictly a dig at all my other Saints brothers. By the way, I drafted 3 Saints, so let's just put that out there.
we had the Saints had we had 5 total guys drafted, which I'm excited about. Would have been a little more excited had all of us gone.
Of course.
Hate you, John. I just really hate you, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I think you had some of the same questions asked to you. Are you even going to talk to John after this?
Yeah, there's no animosity there. I thought about it the night before and said, win or lose, I think you have to be, well, especially if you're on the winning end, you're gracious in victory, but also if you're losing, I mean, you have to feel good about, seeing not to say that we have I don't know what you'd want to call it, teams are close. We're close proximity, but our rivalry does not take like any negative turns. I mean, we can get chirpy, but it's all in fun, and it's two teams that respect each other out there. And unfortunately that we couldn't end up in the winning side of the bracket, but here we are.
Yeah, I know that friend of the pod, Lloyd Christmas, he
burner accounts here coming out.
Burner, what the hell's a burner? No, he replied to Hayes's Twitter apology with so to keep it short here, Luxembourg won the Region 6C title, so they had the first draft pick, and Lloyd Christmas replied to Hayes' apology with, clearly Luxembourg had empathy for you and passed on Jordan in an attempt to reunite mom and dad via the draft. Howard Lake did not share the Brewers' thoughts. The orphans are homeless and wanted you to be as well.
Yep. That's really good. Fabulous.
That's a great a great response.
If you haven't picked up on it, Jordan got drafted by the Howard Lake Orphans, so he does have a home for the state tournament.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Very excited about that. Gracious for the opportunity. We've got Saints guys on all 3 of the teams coming out of Region 6C, so
yeah,
that's fun. That's fun, and I can't wait to cheer all those teams on.
That's kind of the I guess you could say silver lining in a lot of these regions and districts, and of course A-ball with no draft, they don't get to share in the fun as much, but even if you're not making it, you usually get a guy or 2 out there, and you can support that. You can kind of hitch your wagon up to a team that you hope can go far, and you get these guys that are drafted have these cool experiences. And I mean, for so many years we had a couple guys drafted out of Litchfield, and I took a lot of joy in going to these first round, second round, third weekend games, watching our guys. And I will say, of course, you want to make the dance, you want to make the big show, but to go and support a team that believes in one of your guys too, that's fun. So yeah, we're all real excited about our bracket reveal tonight, as of course more state board members are shuffling into the conference room. I don't know if anyone's seen Conclave on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix, but it basically follows, how does a pope get elected? This is the exact same setup, basically. It feels as though you've got these guys in robes coming in. It's almost a little bit scary, but
the walls are thin here, and it feels like it's 1492 straight across from us, the hall, and it's the Sistine Chapel over there, and we're waiting for the smoke to
billow
out. Yeah.
We're keeping an eye on it, but no, they've got till 7 p.m. to get rolling. And no, we're, like I said, I think I just saw Jason Kirshner walk in with a large basket of cheese curds too. So he's covered for tonight. And they don't get too far away. Those Cologne guys, they don't get too far away from their cheese curds. So
well, and typically, it is getting kind of late here, and around this time, he'd usually be warming up a cup of chamomile tea, getting ready to get tucked in for the night. But he's swapped it out for the cheese curds and a Mountain Dew because, folks, fun's about to start.
Fun is about to start. I do want to mention this. I mean, as we get through this little first section of our pod here, we are the Talkin' Town Ball podcast. You normally would find us on YouTube and Spotify, but tonight we've landed on the MBA YouTube, and we might have some new listeners. We are currently unsponsored. I want to mention this. We don't have any large sponsorships. Luckily, though, the MBA has actually offered 9% of the state tournament gate. So we appreciate them. Thank you for the claps. 9% of the tournament gate. Unfortunately, in our eyes, that falls very short of what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
We are actually looking for that NBA money. So we're looking for 30% of the profit.
Pay us what we're worth.
Pay us what they owe us, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So kind of a fun day. Once again, we're excited. As we get further into this hour of fun here, we did record some interviews. We've got a couple guys that are going to be well entrenched in the state tournament, not only from a hosting standpoint, but a managing standpoint and local media. So, I mean, we're covering the whole gamut here. This is... we're going to have interviews with Hutchinson manager Mike Cutter, and we're going to have a interview as well with Jeremy Stender, who is out of Glencoe. Remind me of the radio station again. That
he does KARP and KDUZ.
KDUZ. Yeah. So if you're in that, once again, entrenched in that CRVL baseball, you've definitely heard the soft tones of Jeremy Stender. You're going to enjoy that interview. So as we go, and we continue this live coverage outside of the decision room, we are, I don't know, we're just excited to be here. Anything else you guys want to cover before we jump into that taped interview with I believe Mike Cutter, who we'll lead off with?
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's cut to it. Let's get to it. Here's our first interview. Hutchinson manager and state tournament host Mike Cutter. And we are now here with our first guest. It's the Sunday of the bracket reveal, and we've got Mike Cutter of the Hutchinson Huskies, the manager and the state tournament host of the 2025 Minnesota Baseball Association state tournament. Mike, how are we doing?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. It's been a long couple of weekends up in Watkins, but it's kind of a good tired, I guess you could say, just for the fact that we got out of there with the 1 seed and everything was wrapped up last night. Don't have to worry about anything today, and just kind of good to be at home a little bit and away from baseball for at least 24 hours and get back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, you I mean, we hadn't mentioned this too, but your new title was district commissioner.
District, yes.
And so you having that new responsibility on top of managing and on top of being a tournament host, I mean, you've got to be a busy man. You're wearing a lot of hats, and I'm sure time is kind of it's important right now how you're utilizing your hours.
Yes, I would 100% agree. And, I think things will kind of ramp up on Monday and Tuesday this week with doing some final preparations at the park and getting things set up. And then my side of things in terms of being kind of the team host coordinator and getting that set up. So start earmarking people for teams, and once the bracket comes out tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, you've got that that first weekend off, you said you locked on the 1 seed. So now your plate maybe won't look as full on that first weekend, but that second weekend you're going to be coming in. The state board has made it clear they're going to keep their teams. If you're a host, you're going to have home games throughout the tournament.
Right.
Is that something that you have you've seen before or dealt with before?
Yeah, in 2016 it was set up that way for us as well, and I think they tried as much as they could, and I think Ryan, you can kind of speak to that too from 2 years ago where you got to play all your games at home. So I think that is something. That's a step in the right direction, that they've been doing that for a while now, and then you can keep your workers there. You don't have to shuffle people around to a different site. But yeah, I'm excited about the possibility of playing 4 games or whatever it's going to be for us in our home park. And, if we get that opportunity and we're going to make the best of it.
100%.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that they've done a nice job of is doing the Friday night game too.
Correct.
Huge.
When you got to get the field ready after a game and then play and then get the field ready and then you got people scrambling, it gets to be tricky where it's just get there Friday, play your 1 game, hopefully
Correct.
you win, celebrate, enjoy it, and then come back and grind it out Saturday and Sunday, just working all day. But the working and playing on the same day gets to be a little stressful and tricky.
Doing a Friday feels like a normal. You've done it all summer where you get the field ready, then you play your game, and then when it's done, you put it to bed and go home. Tough on a Saturday or Sunday, especially if you're if you're the last game of the day or something. It's like, all right, we got to get the field ready for 3 games and then go play.
You could argue that it could take away from your preparation level as a team. You've got so many guys on that roster that are probably contributing as volunteers. You don't want that to be a reason to maybe derail their focus in any way. But we've seen it. I mean, like you said, Delano in 2023, monster crowds going to every home game. They're just filling the park. They're they like to update every weekend, where the admission totals are. And I remember that year, and it would be like, Litchfield with 600 and blah, blah, blah people. And then Delano, 2,495. And it'd be like, okay, well, it's getting busy over
Tourism.
there. Yeah, tourism. Right?
Tourism.
And Jordan last year, you as a host, they end up going all the way to the championship game. And I mean, what a environment that was for that group too. So just a really cool opportunity. I think that's, and you might get some guy out there that argues, state host site, they're getting every advantage out there, but I think it's part of, you earn that right. You've got the field to where it is now to earn the ability to host some games and bring in the crowds.
It is and it isn't, because it can be just as big of a distraction.
Right. People don't understand that
No,
bit.
that's the part where, just kind of a totally going on a different course here. Just our high school team this year, for many years, Delano had been the host for the section high school playoffs, and we had hired Toby Hansen as our head coach, and we had the playoffs out in Waconia, and he was grumbling about it not being in Delano, and I'm like, dude, you're first-year head coach. Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to just hop on the bus and let Waconia roll out the red carpet 100%. For us, and we just play. Yeah, because otherwise you're going to have 500 questions. So
yep.
And I'm going to reverse course again, because I want to know what's the setup going to look like in Hutch. You don't have to go in all the details, Cutter. And we want to know the food selection. You got to get the food selection out to the people.
Yeah, I hear you. That's big and important. Setup wise, we're going to have we brought in. Former player has like a grain bin bar, we call it. That's going to kind of be behind. That's going to be that's going to kind of be behind the grandstand, more towards the first base dugout. So we have the grain bin bar. We're pretty excited about that. That got hauled in last week. We'll have our, you're going to have your classics, your burgers and brats and things like that. We're going to have some, I believe some other pork products. I believe some pork chops are going to be coming in at some point. So,
here we go.
So I think we're excited about that because we have Benny's Meat Market in town, and he does a great job, and he's connected with the Broughton team as well a little bit. So he's going to kind of be between those two sites, but. We have some craft beers as well. I can't think of what they are off the top of my head right now.
Sure, that's fine.
We'll have some selections from that as well. And trying to think what else. We'll have bleachers. We'll have some temporary bleachers on each side of the dugout on the first base and third base sides, and kind of those green spaces that are green now. Thankfully after a little mishap last summer, but
it does look great now.
There's always like trials and tribulations for a state host site, and I don't think people understand it. That year leading up to the hosting, there's a lot of things that
even days
before.
Yeah.
I think about in 2023, our lead up. I mean, I was sweating probably a handful of things that it's like we've got to figure this out, or hope that it goes right, and it just kind of sometimes falls into place. Of course, things don't always go perfect, and you just kind of have to go with it. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're all human, and to put something on like this, even with years of prep, you can, there are things that just don't go right, and that's right. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the best I've seen the field look in my 20 years of living in town. And we have a fantastic groundskeeper who does a great job and really cares about how it looks and how it plays. And I think, surface wise and everything that has gone into the grandstand and making that look nice, and some of the areas, the new concrete areas behind there, the new gate that was put in. There's some really nice aesthetics that are complementary to everything that's going into the ballpark. So again, we're really excited. I think it's important too, going back to when we were talking about having the bye. We have that first weekend to make things work. What do we need to improve? What's working really well? Lining up the volunteers, and then we have all those games that first weekend to not worry about playing and not worry about what we're doing as a team, but organizationally that we are on top of what we need to do, and then we'll make adjustments for the second weekend.
Right. Yeah, that's nice. I mean, obviously, credit to your guys for locking down the 1 seed and giving their manager a little bit of leeway with getting into.
Gives
the
me a little more time.
Exactly.
Time is very important, I think, and you guys, since you posted a couple of years ago, how important the time management between the baseball and everything else you're doing with your life. And it's good. It kind of gives, like today, I don't have to be at a baseball park, and I get to watch hockey instead. So that's it's nice to have a break, and then tonight watch the bracket show, and we'll go from there on Monday.
And the pre-show, of course, right?
Sorry, how ridiculous for me to get the pre-show. I'm sorry.
6 p.m. pre-show, like we said, we're
6
recording.
Pre-show, yes.
Yeah, we're recording this bright and early this the same day, Sunday. But we're excited that we'll feature this interview on a 6 p.m. pre-show. I mean, as far as what else we want to cover, we've gone over it quite a bit. Hutchinson, now later, I think tonight during our live show, we're going to kind of cover each state site and what they offer in terms of amenities in the area. Obviously, you're going to have some awesome stuff at the park. Hutchinson is. I mean, you've got everything out there. You've got everything from,
some would say there's much in Hutch.
There's much in Hutch.
Some would say that. Yeah, there's a slogan in there, I think.
I've never heard that. So this is new to me.
I've only known it as the home of Les Cuba.
Les Cuba, legend. Of course, Lindsay Whalen as well. So you drive into town, you see the Lindsay Whalen painting on the wall. What are some? I mean, let's say, what's a favorite watering hole for you? If you got a post game spot, do you want to shout out a spot or two?
Well, if you're looking for a pitcher of beer and some pizza, you got to go to Main Street Sports Bar.
Absolutely. And guess what? It's on Main Street.
That's right.
Weird. It's on Main Street.
And that's only a few blocks from the field.
Yeah, that's just a right-hand turn off of Fifth Avenue there on Main Street, and you go a few blocks and you'll be there. Yeah, I think that's if you want to sit down and just get yourself a pizza and hang out with the guys afterwards, that's the place to go. And it's been around for a long time. You got your B-dubs there over if you want to go get some wings.
Of course.
Do that. If you want to get, and honestly, if you want to get fancy, you want some really good food, you got to go try Tokyo Grill on the west side of town.
Oh, I'll second that. I will second that.
Get you some Tokyo Grill. It's
so good.
It's really good. Their menu is huge. There's so many different sushi options and everything else you can imagine.
That's a busy spot on a normal night. Now put 10,000 people in Hutchinson on top of that. I bet we'll see some loaded parking lots. That's the thing with these communities. I mean, when you're trying out to be a site, and you've got the town that's kind of like saying, okay, you want us to support this. What's going to come of it? You say, prepare for those 3 weekends, because you are going to see an influx of people that are not only coming through town, but they're hanging around and they're spending money, and that the local economy is going to be booming. Even Hutchinson, a larger town/city, they are going to absolutely benefit from all the new traffic that's coming through town.
Yeah, and again, that was kind of the sell. As you know, you have to kind of sell your tournament sites when this happens, and that was part of it when we put in the bid, however many years ago it was, and credit Kyle Messner and actually Mike Max from who's a Gaylord native. He credit him too, because he was part of that whole process.
He was actually in your bid. Your bid meeting when you did the
correct. He was.
Yeah, so like bringing in the big guns, of course, Hutchinson holding nothing back.
Nothing.
Yeah, we're excited. And it's obviously because it is kind of all of in our backyards. Delano's got to come way out west if they have to come to a game out here, and I'm
catch
sure
an early flight.
That'll be. It's a long train ride from Delano.
Fingers crossed for Gaylord. Fingers crossed for
Gaylord. I would love to see our Blues make a trip to Hutchinson. So I'm going to push that for the state board. I'm going to make sure as they enter the boardroom tonight, I'm going to be poking them a little bit and saying, yeah, of course we want to stay local.
And again, when we had the Monday night rain out where we came up a couple weeks ago, that was again, you're helping each other out, and I think that was great when we were able to get that Maple Plain game in Litchfield a few weeks ago. So
yeah, of course we're always looking out for our North Star League brothers, and we'll be cheering for you. It's kind of nice this year, you being in B, and of course, Ryan also in B, but being in C, then I can cheer you guys on.
There you go,
and not think twice about it. So we're excited to see how everything goes. Of course, from a hosting standpoint, we want the best from you guys, and from a team aspect, make sure let's get you to that final weekend. All right.
Right. That's the goal. That's the plan, and you can make the greatest plans, and it doesn't always go that way. But I think just talking to the guys, and I think we're excited, and I think we feel good about where we're at, and we played some good baseball here at the end of the season. So we've done just a little bit of prep work, and we'll be ready to go.
Awesome, Mike. Well, we appreciate you coming on here and giving us a little bit here to just get us excited for the next 3 weekends. It's going to be a good time.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have all the. I hope everything goes well for you. So.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and keep up the great work on the show here, boys.
Absolutely. All right, awesome, Mike. We will talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, and we are here with Jeremy Stender with KGLB Radio, AM 1310. Jeremy, you had a couple big weekends. Are you ready to go for 3 more? You got the day off today, or what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm off today.
Okay.
I don't know if my wife's ready for 3 more.
Oh boy!
But yes, this is always this is a tough 5-weekend stretch, but I love it. It's great. And, with all the changes this year, there were moments during the summer where you're like, I'm not so sure about this, but now you roll into playoffs and it's like it's back to normal, and it's fun, and you're seeing the excitement ramp up as we get ready for what's coming up here shortly.
Yeah, and I do want to ask, because we're at 7 Crow River Valley League teams. How are you going to break that up then for the state tournament, and how do you pick who you're going to cover?
Right.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I mean, luckily I've got a pretty good team of guys. I do have 3 radio stations at my disposal to kind of shift around. I think the first weekend, and again, we've got the bracket reveal coming up, but I have a hunch that Hutchinson, Brownton, and Glencoe are all going to be hosting games on Friday evening.
Right.
This coming Friday evening. So, well, guess what? I've got 3 stations. I've got KDUZ, Carp, and then KGLB that they'll kind of fit in there. And then the rest of the weekend is probably a little bit more manageable.
Yeah. But Hutch is the 1 seed, so they'll get a bye. So you might not have to,
So don't even have to worry about that.
Probably don't have to worry about them this weekend.
That was a question I think we're going to discuss, but Glencoe coming in as a 4th site, obviously it's a little bit different. If they make the tournament, and of course they did, are they going to then, as a 4th site, get that Glencoe game?
That was my understanding.
Okay.
That they were told this, even back in April or May when they were kind of brought on as that 4th site, that if that were to happen, and I think that that's a smart thing.
Of course.
Yeah,
do.
absolutely, for sure.
I think that's one thing that the state board's done a really, really good job of adapting to, because I remember in 2021, on a Friday night, Waconia guys, Waconia's playing in Chaska. So, you've got your whole volunteer base, you've got your whole fan base already doing everything at your park.
Yeah.
You can't even go watch your team play. So I think this has been kind of a great adjustment that they've made. And it just seems like it's a lot better for your organizations, for your volunteers, for everyone. So
and
Definitely.
of course, your numbers are going to skyrocket. You're going to see a hometown crowd that'll boost attendance, and the more home games you have for state tournament sites and hosts, the better your return numbers are. It's just you don't have to be a scientist to know that. So, yeah, excited for that first night. You said Hutchinson has a bye as a 1 seed. Hayes, and
Yep.
So you've got Glencoe playing at home on that Friday night potentially, and what other CRV teams are we looking at that would maybe have that? You said
Brownton's in it, so
of course,
I'm
Brownton.
guessing they'll get a Friday night game. But let's jump into Region 7 seed, Jeremy. I know LeSueur is out of the River Valley League, one of the teams, but then we got Brownton, Glencoe, and Cologne. And I know you spent some time over in New Germany covering games at that region. What do you know? What did you see or find out about LeSueur? Because we don't know a lot about them.
we don't, and it was interesting because I was actually looking over the updated Class C rankings, and I saw John and what he said. We'll watch their matchup with Cologne and with Glencoe. Well, the first time they played Glencoe was it yesterday and Saturday. They beat them 14-0, and they shut out Cologne last week. I think that through everything, I think LeSueur has probably looked like the best team. Now they were a state tournament team last year, so they're coming off of a very good season, and they've got the Feeney kid who someone has to remind me. D2 pitcher. He's really, really good. I watched him throw against Cologne, so I like that. Their lineup with the Pangillies and some of the other young kids. I mean, they've got a 16-year-old kid that travels all over the place playing baseball. He looks like a grown man.
Oh, wow.
And I saw him have 2 or 3 hits last weekend in a game that I saw there. So they're I think they're an exciting team. I definitely think that if you were to pencil, like we always do, right, 6 to 8 favorites, I think that LeSueur is probably in that talk. I think that Glencoe is probably in that talk too, just
course.
because they've grown up a little bit. I think the re-addition of Teddy Peterson, anytime you can add a Division II player, right, coming back and playing at his hometown, is a great thing. And then I think the one little outlier, they haven't really been talked about, but we all kind of know about them. And I really like the Brownton Bruins because, number one, Ryan Graham's, right, 39 years old. He's still going at a high level. But I don't think people know enough about Scott Finberg. This is his 4th year with the Bruins. And, I remember the podcast you guys did earlier in the summer where, Jack Walatich coming back, playing for Young America, right? Yep. You marry a local girl and you buy a house in town. What baseball team doesn't love that?
Right.
Well, Scott Finberg married a Brownton girl. right? And moved a few blocks from the park a few years ago, and he's a Division II player, and he's just completely changed their lineup. He's a shortstop. He kind of anchors their defense up the middle. I think he's had 4 home runs in the Region 7 tournament over in New Germany. So I think that they're a team that with Ryan on the mound and with Scott going the way he's going right now, and then some of their younger guys that have kind of grown up these last few years, I think the Brown Bruins are another team that can make a run. For the Cologne Highlanders, it's going to come down. Can their bats be consistent enough? They haven't scored it real well at the region tournament. They can pitch it a little bit. Okay. Maybe not shut down pitchers, but the biggest thing for them is going to be, can they get their bats to consistently show up and be a part of the party.
I saw on Twitter their manager is he announced that it is his last year managing?
Yes, Craig Texas kind of said that's kind of been his plan all along. I think that plan, like with a lot of town ball people, has gotten pushed back maybe a couple of years.
The one more year approach.
That mysteriously seems to happen to a lot of guys. But, Craig went into the Hall of Fame about 5 or 6 years ago. Him and his wife operate a food truck in the offseason. Craig's still going to be around. He's still going to do a lot for the Highlanders. That's not the thing. It's just going to be a new bench guy. But so I think that was really exciting for them. I live in Cologne, so I did spend a little bit of time at the local watering hole with those guys on Friday night after calling a 4-hour game.
Awesome.
I did call that game, and had a couple cold beverages with them, and they're just really excited. Cologne baseball, when I moved here with my wife 17 or 18 years ago, was almost non-existent, and now they have a home game. I don't know how many of you guys have had a chance to get over to Fritz Field, but it's kind of on a hill, and every night is like Phil the Hill for them. It's almost
fabulous.
It's cool.
Yes, it's become a really, really cool thing here in Cologne, and baseball wasn't a cool thing 15 years ago. So it's fun, and now this is only they went to the state tournament in 1972 and then got back in 2019. So this is the third time they've been there. So they were pretty excited Friday night.
100%. That's very cool. We talk about, the teams that have made it. Of course, you've covered that out of the CRVL. How about teams that didn't make it that might have a guy or, a horse that maybe will get drafted here as the tournament, the region and district wrap up?
Well, this year our Region 7 was combined with the RBL. And, so like teams like Belle Plaine, Le Sueur coming up, St. Peter, Gaylord. So I'm not as familiar, but St. Peter has a guy. And he solidifies any staff. I think he pitches. Can't remember if it's Gus Davis or where he's at, but he's really, really good. And then I think as you go around the Crow, there's a group of guys, whether it's that one guy that's solid that can give you 5 or 6 innings. It's maybe not right what you're talking about on the B level, where you might have the potential to get one of those D2 guys or someone of that nature. I don't know that there are those kind of arms. So what I would say is on the Region 7 side, aside from that guy out of St. Peter, I don't know how big of a difference maker there is per se.
Right.
But I think a guy that can give you innings and a guy that might need to give you innings when you get into that 3-game Labor Day weekend, which is, again, one less than what you've had to do, the past how many years. So I think that there's arms that can help you, to say one or two specifics. I don't know. I know there's also a couple guys. There's always a couple guys, as you guys know from being around it, that, summer's kind of come to an end, and my wife or my girlfriend thinks, a weekend at the lake is a little more important than me going to pitch for a different team.
It's much prettier to go up north in September.
The leaves turning. We love that. We love that.
So, well, Jeremy, I think want to move over to now District 7B here for a minute or two, and we got Young America, Plato, and then the new guys, my Delano squad. And what do you like, especially like with the YA and Plato? Because elephant in the room, they're really, really good, and they're Labor Day weekend teams for sure. 100%. So
I think all four in that District 7B, the Final Four, were Labor Day weekend teams. I mean, Brian, you just experienced the state tournament, like a Labor Day weekend state tournament, and we unfortunately knew that one of those four teams were going to go home going into the weekend. It was just, who was it going to be? I mean, let's be honest, Delano was one hit away from potentially doing that to Young America on Thursday night. How does Young America respond if they lose that game? Plato's down 5-0 with Reese Schwartz on the mound through 4 innings against Watertown. They come back and win 8-5. Reese doesn't give up a hit the last 7 innings. All of a sudden, Ryan, you guys have a balk yesterday to tie the game 2-2 in the 6th inning, and you're thinking, what the heck's going on?
Sensitive subject. Right there.
Yes, but this is how close. This is how close everything was, and there's such a microcosm between potentially going 2-0 versus going 0-2, and I think that but yes, to your point, these are really, really good teams. I mean, Reese Schwartz, he can pitch you to the Final Four pretty easy. Ryan, you've seen up close Young America's lineup, and not even necessarily at its best. Braden Coles, who was the MVP of the Region 7 tournament, is just finishing up with the Mankato Moondogs. So he's not even in that lineup right now, and he'll be back.
Wow.
So it's just, those are two really good teams. This is a Plato team that the last few years, I don't want to say the negative things said about them, but probably is to an extent, was could they hit it enough? Well, these are all 21, 22, and 23-year-old guys who now have kind of entered that next phase of their town ball career, and they can hit it a little bit. I've been impressed, with Delano. We knew what we were getting, with them coming into the league. Very dangerous lineup. Mason Henry yesterday in that state qualifier, first pitch of the game, hits it 380 feet over the right field fence to give them a 1-0 lead. The speed at the top of the lineup is something that I've been really impressed with. And obviously it helps having a guy like Toby Hansen in your lineup when you have that ability, especially if there's 1 or 2 runners on base, or even just when he comes up, with no one on base, and that ability to completely change the dynamic of the game, like he did yesterday when he hit a solo home run in the top of the 8th inning. And then what does he do in the 9th? He comes up with runners on 2nd and 3rd, and he lines one into left center and scores 2. So I think, and then I feel bad for Watertown, because they're not going to the state tournament. Those guys were hurt and beat up over it yesterday, but it's no consolation when you tell him, guys, don't worry about it. I mean, look at the monsters in this region. Or district. That doesn't help you, feel anything less. But we knew going into Thursday that one really, really good team, a state tournament or state championship caliber team, was going to go home, and unfortunately it had to be the Red Devils.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, Jeremy, we're going to let you get going. I know you got to get out to that Carver County Fair, but, hopefully you can put your feet up later in the day and this week, because, 3 big weekends. And just if you want to give us a rundown of where we can find you. And then I think there's an app you can pull up, too, on your phone, if you want to give us that.
Yep, there is. We will, we'll cover on KGLB will be our the main station, but we know that there's going to be double ups. That's AM 1310, and then also our sister stations, KARP FM 106.9, and then KDUZ AM 1260. And as Ryan mentioned, download the Made in Minnesota app. Just type in Made in Minnesota in your app store, and you're able to kind of toggle back and forth. The KGLB will be in Glencoe. The other 2 stations I mentioned in Hutchinson, and what's unique about it is, KCHK out of New Prague covers a lot of games. KNUJ out of New Ulm. They're all part of our sister stations. So you can also listen to those stations within that Made in Minnesota app. So really you've got an opportunity to toggle back and forth between, 3 or 4, even sometimes 5 town ball games just within that Made in Minnesota app.
Yeah, it's super convenient. I want to mention this quick too. Yesterday, as we had wrapped up Litchfield versus DC, we were kind of hanging out. A lot of beers were being drank, and we said, we want to know what that Delano game's up to. I said, I know that Made in Minnesota app is out there. I'm going to throw that up. Super easy to get to, and by the time I had thrown on the stream, Toby Hansen had cleared the bases with a.
I think I had asked John. I'm like, well, we gotta, there's got to be an app or something. And he's like, yeah, I got it right here. And then he pulls it up and shows me. I'm like, oh yeah, it is all right there. This is nice,
100%,
real slick,
well laid out.
Well,
so yeah,
and we appreciate all that you do, Jeremy, and your crew covering town ball, because it's very near and dear to our heart, as I know it is to yours. So, much appreciated, and enjoy the day, and good luck the next 3 weekends.
All right. Thank you, boys. Keep up the good work. Really enjoy listening to you guys.
awesome. Appreciate it. And we're back live. It's just it's refreshing to kind of have these recorded interviews and then just be able to kick back to the studio here, the secret location.
I hope we're still live and we haven't been cut off yet.
I think, as far as I'm concerned, I think we still have Wi-Fi, so everything's still coming through. And the board is, we're hearing some rumblings. I think we're kind of getting to that final stage where it's like the jury is going to be out on this bracket real soon.
You would think, speaking of Wi-Fi, like you said, you would think in an underground bunker we wouldn't have this good of reception or signal on our Wi-Fi, but somehow
the amount of security that comes into play here is mind-boggling. We were actually kidnapped from each of our towns, and there was a bag thrown over our head, and we were driven out here. A lot of left turns. I didn't know exactly where
it was. A long drive. And then we even got followed up with the pat down at the door.
At the door. Well, they want to make sure that we're not sneaking in any paraphernalia. There's just a lot of question marks there, but it is fun to be live. I just actually, like you said earlier, the walls are a little thin. I heard Mark Forsman actually making a late push to be to have Dassel be a fifth site. Which is exciting. Probably not going to happen. I think we've got some people that are, they've got their heads on straight. The board will make sure that doesn't happen. Whitey being a little aggressive in there, but that's typical Mark Forsman.
It's the name of the game. Sometimes you gotta make a push for your home park, and I don't think it's going to work out this time.
No, that's not
hosting twice in 4 years. What do you guys think you are, Waconia or Delano?
Yeah, what the heck? Okay. So it's hashtag state board babies.
Things are getting hot in the room next to us, and so you can hear they're banging around on the wall.
Well, I think that's Brennan. He's not very happy with the Hinkley draw. It looks.
To me. Keep an eye on that.
And I can peeking through these blinds. They made us shut the blinds. They don't want us to see what's going on in this big bracketology 101 over there, but I can kind of see a matchup they're putting together, and I don't know if I love or hate it, but it's going to be exciting. Should I spoil it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's keep it. Let them have all the fun. They're going to have their professional, show here at 7 p.m. We're just the whatever.
We're clowns.
Dog and pony dance.
Yeah.
Well, we've had some reviews come in for Talkin' Town Ball.
We haven't even talked about our reviews.
Okay, that's one I heard.
That was a good one.
Okay.
That was one of our favorite ones.
I had ran into a gentleman and said, "Hey, are you the Talking Town Ball guy?" I was like, "Yeah." Do you listen to that smut? He's like, "Yeah, it's okay."
Hey, that's a glowing review.
In my world, that's almost a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's close. It's close to.
We've also heard we are listenable.
Oh yeah, that's maybe my favorite review. Yeah, you're listenable. Almost as if I guess.
If it's on in the background, I'm not afraid to just, give it a listen. That's really nice, and we appreciate all our feedback. We started this pod out of kind of just love of town ball, and it has grown. I would say if we didn't have a following at all, we would still be enjoying it every step of the way. It would be a passion project, and we always come here and enjoy ourselves and have a great time, and it definitely doesn't feel like a chore at all. We're enjoying every bit of it, and to be elevated now to be able to be the pre-show show for the state board, it's an exciting opportunity, and we're gonna keep doing it until we run out of gas. You know, we had we had a lot of content this year. We had a lot of things to talk about. The reclassification. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You could talk 100 hours on that thing.
We did.
And we
Felt-
did.
it
And we
felt like
talked.
it.
Go
Yeah.
back. We talked 100 hours about it, and it gave us a lot of fun opportunities to kind of just get the sentiment of Minnesota ball. You know, people having a lot of opinions, and we're the same way. We have plenty of opinions here, and the state board doing that reclassification. You got player points, you got population points, you got success points. Jordan, you and I talked with Hayes as well. There's got to be an easier way.
Yeah, and we think we've nailed it.
Oh, 100%.
We think there's no way we can be wrong here. We have our own ideas about
Potential.
reclassification and maybe moving into 2026 rather than the player points, population, whatever it may be.
It's just muddy. you
Yeah,
know?
it muddies the waters. We have, I think, a much easier way to do this.
We want to take the burden off of the boards, and we
Yeah.
want to make sure, we want to clarify, we want to give the board a real easy, maybe into 2026, a couple different options. We've thought of multiple.
Yeah, so just a good example of you want to make it make sense, and here's one example of a way you could do this. I think that if your town has a strip mall in it, a smaller strip mall, you are a Class C team.
Great start.
If you have an outlet mall, which is maybe a little step up in size, you're Class B.
Easy.
And if you have the largest mall in the entire country in your backyard, it's a pretty clear you're Class A.
You're going to be Class A. Perfect
So-
start. Easy.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I mean, we don't have to talk about players. We don't have to talk about population. This is just size of mall.
That's black and white, as clean as it gets there as far as a deciding point. I've thrown out the idea, if you have a Culver's in town,
Okay.
well, guess what? You're Class B.
Yeah.
That's high quality food at a reasonable price. I mean, that's fast food. If you're going to go out and get a good burger and
Yeah.
you've got a Culver's within city limits, welcome to Class B.
Yeah, it's I mean, like if you have a real small cafe in your town, you might be like Class C. Culver's is a pretty easy choice as B. And then
Yep.
if you're celebrating by going to Fogo after the game,
Fogo de Chao.
you're probably
You're
Class
going to
A.
be Class A.
Yeah.
These are all, obviously, you can pick. These are all going to be solid options. If you want to toss the player points, success points, these are all, I would say, in my mind, better options for the board. Is your batter's eye a corn silo? Mm-hmm. Welcome to Class C.
Okay.
I mean, that's a pretty easy one for us.
That's a good.
That felt like low hanging fruit almost.
Yeah.
Why aren't we utilizing this?
Well, that's man, I'm blanking on the team right now.
Greenwald.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Cubs. They do have a corn silo. Well, several of them.
Watch
as a batter's eye.
Watch next year, Delano installing a corn silo in center field.
Yeah, you've got the outfield decks now. Put a silo out there.
We have a
drop right
we,
back
we
down.
have a gazebo.
That's
We could
Class
just-
B.
gazebo?
That's very Class B.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a gazebo, so we could make it a corn
gazebo.
silo.
Class B.
How about this? Have you ever had a heifer get loose near your ball field?
Yeah, Delano has. Yeah.
Delano has? No
We're
way.
seeing.
Zero chance.
No.
If you
Years
had
ago.
I think about like, oh my gosh, Meyer Grove. All I can imagine is a cow kind of just taking a stroll by the ball field. You're Class C. Any other ones you might want to drop there? I mean, we do have.
I think you pull into the park and there's like a meter, or you have to pay for parking. You're probably an A team.
Probably an A team, and I'll even piggyback on top of that. Is there an art gala within walking distance of your concession stand?
Oh, that feels pretty Class A.
I mean, how about a flea market though? Where are you gonna
flea market?
Where are you gonna land a flea
well,
market?
I would say C, but some could make the argument that there's flea markets in B towns. Come on.
And that's something we need to kind of iron out as we go through the details there.
Well, we're going to work hard with the state board moving into next season on implementing some of these ideas, and I think it'll go
it
well.
seems like no brainers here. If you're one to argue points, we want to give you every reason to just feel good about where you stand, and I think we've basically given you the blueprint, State Board. I know that they're just getting out of. I mean, as we see, the door is now kind of opening to the Shark Tank, as we've called it.
Yeah, what looks like maybe a small fist fight breaking out in there right now.
There's been some injuries.
You know, some people, I think some people might, you know, you always think like, the State Board, you know, they're all working together against us. Sometimes you hear that. There's no way. They're working together right now to try to make it the best tournament it can possibly be.
Yes.
So they're fist fighting each other in that room.
We're going to have to get, I don't know if they've hired a makeup artist, because if we've got Mark Forsman being featured in that selection bracket reveal show, he's going to have to cover up a black eye. There's definitely been some...
Either cover up his black eye or visit Doc's office tomorrow morning and get his eyes checked, because if he got punched pretty hard, I think that Doc could help him out.
It pays to know somebody.
Well, I mean, speaking of being on camera, you know, we are doing this live. This is live audio.
100%.
We chose to stay off the camera because, well, one, we didn't want to scare anyone away. I think that's key.
Faces for podcast for 100%.
Yeah, faces for a podcast, audio only. But I do, even though this is just audio and you can't see us right now, I do want to shout out some other friends of the pod, Haywood and Richard. They had tweeted at our teams yesterday, because we were playing each other, and Haywood had this idea where the losing manager should have to wear the apparel of the winning team during the stream that is currently, you know, being live right now. And although you can't see me, Haywood, I am wearing a Blues hat. I wanted to make sure I held up our end of the bargain there.
Yep, I can back that up. Jordan Flick currently sporting a Blues hat. But,
I had to do it. You know, it doesn't quite feel right, but you know, John and the Blues, they're friends, so I feel okay.
Yes, and Jordan's a good sport, so good to have that. Good to see that, and we're gonna go into this selection show, this bracket reveal with I don't know. We have high hopes to see a really fun. I think we're hoping for really fun matchups. I mean, that's the one thing you see. You get these northern teams, you get these southern teams that have no idea who the heck each other are, and we're going to be meeting them up in a state tournament. Hayes, do you have anything you want to drop in before I feel like we're going to get kicked out here soon, but we might have about a minute and a half before these guys get a little aggressive with us.
Are you guys done playing in the shallow end of the pool? Can we go into the deep end?
Okay, get us in the deep end.
Talk about some. Now we have a whole off season to talk, you know, serious about classifications and points, but we do have teams that are going to be playing next weekend.
We do have teams,
and maybe let's throw out some teams that we thought were going to be in that we don't see on the list. We haven't seen the bracket yet. I'm going to point out St. Patrick, the number 1 seed out of Section 1 in Class A, not going to make the state tournament this year. That one was pretty eye-popping to me. I'll jump down to C, our Clearwater River Cats. They broke a record. They won 78 games.
78 games. They played.
But they didn't win enough playoff games.
Yeah, bummer.
So those are some that kind of jump out for Class A. I want to give a shout out to the mighty Minneapolis River Rats. They've been in existence for just over 20 years. They are making their first state tournament. So
congrats.
Shout out to those silly rats out there.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Waconia winning Class C and then jumping into A, and they took care of business in their section. And they're going to go state tournament for Class A now. So I like them. Anything jumping out with you guys?
I mean, as far as C, I mean, you had Spring Hill, you know, you had New York Mills, the teams that I definitely believed in. I had them in my rankings through the state site throughout the year. I don't, you know, you're more attached to the B side of things. Obviously Watertown.
Watertown. But speaking of B, the Bluffton Braves.
Oh, yeah,
they were didn't get in there. That's a tough dress. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with Class B. getting 24 teams, and you're going to see a lot of them are sitting at home, but you're going to have the creme de la creme there in Hutch, Glencoe, Broughton. What do you guys hear music?
Well, wait a second. No, the state board is currently staring us now.
Yeah,
I don't know if
about to get beat up.
We're
here.
in like the studio space. There is a slight. Is that like a?
It feels like we're getting played off right now. Well, we'll wrap up as quick as we can here. There's going to be a lot of fun games at all 4 sites. Please go to the state tournament. Get a burger, get a brat, get a beer, watch the games.
Support these hosts. Support the host sites.
Gaylord, Hutch, Broughton, and Glencoe.
Oh man, the music is
It's
killing
getting
us
loud now.
We'll get out of here. We're being threatened. The state board is going to kick us out of the studio. Enjoy this little break between the pre-show and the main show. Go to the bathroom, grab a couple beers. It's going to be a good time. Everybody, have a great state tournament and have a great bracket reveal show. This is the Talking Talbot podcast. We'll see you later.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here, Hayes.
Okay, yeah, all right. We're good. I got out of there though. I don't know.
Yeah, we
What
got
happened?
split up.
Yeah, we lost. We're in. I think we're in like a teeny tiny broom closet right now.
Utility room.
I don't know what's going
Way
on.
back to Delano from somewhere in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know. It was yeah. I don't know what Cheeto was talking about. The name building didn't ring a bell.
No idea.
Oh,
Okay, so you think we're safe for about to go through bracket a little bit, the brackets, and talk about what jumped out at us?
yeah.
I
We've
think so.
we've seen the brackets drop. I
guys
think
are
we're
safe.
all in a safe location. I think we can go over it now. It was a heck of a night here at undisclosed location, but the bracket reveal show was a success. There were some highs, there were some lows. I hope people enjoyed our pre-show. I saw we might have had a couple hundred people in there at a certain time.
We did, and that's a step up from our typical 14. So we're excited about it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a first-time live show, and it was a pre-show, and I know some people for that hour were probably just kind of shuffling into their seats, and a lot of teams were getting together, having some watching party, viewing parties, and I know one of the funnier ones that I saw was it the Holly
Holly Hawks.
Holly Hawks.
Yeah.
I want to point out the Holly Hawks we saw on Twitter. I don't know if they set up. It looked like a set up TV on like a piano bench in like a weird side room, but they fit about 15 people in that room.
It felt very like March Madness, like an on the bubble team is watching. To see.
The 12 seed, and then they announce their name, and you get the clapping. The
was
obligatory
good.
claps.
It was well done.
And then I think right after their selection or their bracket reveal spot, they went out into the backyard and shotgun beers. So we were really proud to see that. That's the type of celebration you want to see. As soon as we get out of this closet, this utility room, we're gonna celebrate that as well. So
Yeah.
so that's cool. Any other things we want to talk about with the bracket reveal show, or were there some other highs, other lows?
I think we got to see some of our guests.
Yeah.
Kirby was on there.
Kirby Hemish.
Tom Elliott.
Tom Elliott was on there. We had state board guys. Yeah, that's cool.
It was cool.
See them.
It's cool that they bring in, every once in a while they'll bring in a new voice there, but they've got some voices they've had in the past, but it's people that are informed and they know their area baseball at a pretty high level, and so there's a lot of good information being shared. Otherwise, Whitey got a lot of screen time. I think people really enjoyed that. No one said anything negative about that. More.
A lot of people muted that.
Oh, okay.
I think they muted it. That's what I heard.
We would never.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff there. They started with Class A, they moved to Class C, and they went to Class B. Kind of showing that new Class B. I'm not going to say bias, but they're excited about this new Class B, kind of saving it.
I got to stop you right there.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I'm a big matchups and days, times, teams play.
Mm-hmm.
And, as we hosted in 23, I know that's what we were looking at quite a bit, the three of us, and who's coming to our ballpark, and more importantly, when are they playing, when are they coming. And I was a little interested to see the opening Friday night matchups. And then I looked at the weekend too, the potential matchups on the Friday nights, and I'm not going to say they got it wrong. I'm not going to say
It sounds like you might be.
There's room for criticism.
Let me go through this, and here's where we can start poking holes. As you know me, I like to do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, at Brownton this Friday, you have Brownton and Howard Lake, obviously no brainer.
Great picks. Yep.
Yep. Jordan Flick better be on the mound for Howard Lake. Otherwise, I'm just going to turn around and go home.
Yikes.
But yeah, you found Brownton, and this should be a great crowd for that one. Over in Hutch, they have the Luxembourg Piers Brewers game, the Battle of the Brewers.
Battle of the Brewers.
And I guess I don't know, where they may be thinking that a North Star League team was going to fill that spot because Luxembourg was matched up with the North Star League teams in your guys' region.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one. I don't. Did they bring a big crowd down?
Luxembourg traveled pretty well.
They do travel pretty well.
Region 6C tournament.
Okay.
I don't know.
They had a good crowd.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Piers. I mean, but yeah, usually that Friday night at a marquee location, they put a huge matchup. And not to say that isn't a great matchup, but boy, that the teams that you normally see in the slots there's a lot of Saturday, Sunday games where the other big teams are playing. What was that?
You do have Litchfield right up the road that maybe could have played that one, or I don't know, Plato.
Ooh,
yeah. Plato's not too far, and they travel very well. They have a first round game over in Gaylord. This must be a little more Tomahawk focused because it's Paynesville and Lamberton.
Mm-hmm.
So they must have been, banking on a Tomahawk East crowd with Lamberton coming up. That's kind of the only one. I don't know what Paynesville draws. Maybe a sneaky one, but this one still a little odd that you don't have Glencoe playing in Glencoe on Friday night, and they're playing Saturday at 4. So
that was a game that I questioned a lot, and I only say this from the point of view as like a state host. I mean, they're the fourth site, but that first weekend they are running full speed.
Yeah,
you're putting them in a 2 p.m. game.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
So two games.
You got to get
two games prior to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you're working all day. You're getting the field ready, and then you're getting stuff ready for your game you're playing, and then you got to do it for the game after. Is that just that's a lot?
I think that Glencoe being a Friday night game in Glencoe was a missed opportunity. I think that's something that should have been a no-brainer. But putting them now in a middle of the day Saturday game, that's you put a little pressure on the team and the volunteers. Yep. I mean that's a tough thing about that little section of time.
And what was the Friday night matchup in Glencoe? Did we say that?
So that is actually Elko and Sartell. Now Elko can travel a little bit. They have a good following. They are a small town. Even though they're classic.
Sartell does too.
But put Glencoe there on a Friday night. You can't tell me that they're not going to fill that place to the brim. I don't know. That was the game I was most critical on. Everything else.
Then weekend 2 though, some potential matchups. Obviously they got it right. Hutch going to play the Friday night game.
Yep.
They're going to get Bird Island or Prior Lake.
Either game would be good. That would be a good one.
Gaylord is going to have Meesville against either Waconia or Minnetonka. So if you get a Waconia win, Meesville, that's not too bad there. Waconia definitely will travel well.
Meesville gets a good crowd too.
With the history too, and then either the winner of Farming Milroy against the winner of Quamba and Cologne. So I don't know if they're banking a Farming Cologne matchup, but I don't know, a little bit better weekend too. Little surprised, and maybe I'm Crow biased, but YA probably could have got a Friday night one weekend too, and you'd have been out on the street. So
Right. No, a lot of good matchups out there. Only just a few question marks. It's going to be a fun couple of weekends, and then obviously that third weekend, you've got. We're going to have to basically go through our quadrants on each class to really try to understand like what could potentially be those matchups.
Yeah.
So we'll look ahead there when we get to that point. But
town ball fans, here's what you can do. You can pack every game.
you can go
pack every game.
I
Tell
kinda like
us
that.
we're dumb for questioning the matchups and show up with thousands of people. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I kind of like that, like kind of the unincorporated fan, just the town ball fan that's going to go to these games. I mean, if you haven't seen a team play, or maybe they're 2 hours away from where you're stationed, go out and see what kind of brand of baseball they're going to bring. It's an opportunity to just see new faces, new players, and new jerseys and some good ballparks. So yeah, it's really really cool opportunity. Do we want to get into our picks? That's the question. Is there anything else we want to cover with the selection show?
I think we could
before we go forward.
We can roll into it.
Hayes, are you good with that?
Yeah, I mean we're gonna skip over how much product Cheetah had in his hair, right?
I don't know if we can skip over that.
We don't have the time to cover it though.
Like
all of it anyway.
Like his hair might do. I think we're just gonna bounce off of that and just go into our picks. But yes, that's a great point there, Hayes.
I used to play intramural basketball with him up at St. Cloud State, Harvard of the North for most people. But I think he kind of kept it like that too when he played basketball. I'm like, gosh, you're sweating, but your hair doesn't move. So
you gotta, the phrase, you look good, you feel good, you play good.
Yeah.
Right.
There it is. That's what it is. Whether it's intramural basketball or for the Watertown Red Devils, you gotta feel good about it.
That's right. No, that's about it for the selection show. I think they did a great job. It was it basically went without technical difficulties, which we were actually really happy about, going from our pre-show, our live pre-show, into their live video, video recorded audience and whatnot. But
they're guests too. The dynamics of the duos they had, I thought was pretty spot on. They did a nice job with that.
Yeah, they mixed them up well. I think Kirby Hemish is a quite the personality, and I think that's why we're going to probably try to get him back on here. A guy that brought a lot of insight, but also a lot of personality to those picks too. So that was cool to see Kirby out there. Other than that, I think we can get right into it. We'll start with our Class A tournament here, and I think, Hayes, were you the one that was going to go into A?
Oh, I had A.
No.
Oh,
yeah.
Jordan had A. So we will let Jordan have the floor right now, kind of start with that first quadrant and just kind of talk us through, who are some good teams in each quadrant, and ultimately which one do you think will come out of that area?
Looking at, just all the games, just as a whole, there's some really fun matchups here. So this first quadrant, we've got, let's see here. We've got, I'll just go kind of by game here. So in the first quadrant, we've got Waconia, who, as we know, they're a champ. Not in A, but they're going to try to be. And they're taking on the Minnetonka Monarchs. So in that game, so how both those teams got here, and you'll come to find this is a common theme in A. Basically, every series was a sweep, but maybe one in every section. So Waconia and Minnetonka, Waconia swept Victoria, and then Minnetonka swept the Buffalo Bulldogs. That is one game. Am I doing who I think is the winner? Are we going that way, or how do we want to do this?
Yeah, do your predictions.
So in that game, I've got Minnetonka moving on over Waconia. I think it's going to be a really good game. I just know historically Minnetonka, real solid. I kept tabs on their series with Buffalo. they're a really good team. Not to say Waconia's not, because they are too. I just think Minnetonka comes out on top. And they will end up facing off with Miesville, the Mud Hens. And then I'll go down one more game here. We've got the first-time state tournament entrant, Minneapolis River Rats, taking on Forest Lake. The River Rats swept the Minneapolis Mudcats in a 3-game series to get here. And let's see, what was the other one? Forest Lake, I'm losing it in my notes here, but
That's fine. That's fine.
I've got Forest Lake moving on over the River Rats. I think it's a cool story. I'm really excited for the River Rats. I think the Cinderella story maybe stops in round 1. But hopefully I'm wrong. Prove me wrong then. They'll take on, so Forest Lake, they would take on St. Anthony, the Hogs then. Do I keep going down or do I just finish this?
I think you keep working on that first quadrant.
All right.
We'll whittle it down to the one remaining team in that quadrant.
All right. It's tough to think in this utility room that we're in. It's like a 4x4 room. We're
Flashlight.
barely fit.
There's a boiler right next to us.
I've got a Zippo lighter that's like viewing this bracket here. I've got Miesville over Minnetonka, and then I've got St. Anthony over Forest Lake.
Boy, Miesville, Minnetonka, that's
yeah,
heavy hitter stuff right there.
Yeah, that's a second round. I mean, that's a second weekend matchup that I think people would love. I think they would love if it was Miesville, Waconia too. Either way, it's going to be a huge crowd.
Yeah, if Waconia does beat Minnetonka, then you have the 2 champions from last year weekend.
Holy smokes!
Right, that would be awesome. But my bracket, I've got Miesville over Minnetonka. I've got St. Anthony over Forest Lake. And then in the Miesville-St. Anthony game that I have predicted here, I have Miesville going to the Final Four. So that's quadrant 1 of the Class A tournament. I've got Miesville as the first of my Final Four teams.
People are going to say chalk. Very chalky so far.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
I mean, when we did our preseason predictions, however long ago that was, I think a lot of my picks were chalk, but with good reason. I do want to point out that I quickly did the math here. Well, I sent it off to our analytics team to figure this out for me. 17 of the 24 teams I got correct in this Class A bracket. 71%. That's not bad.
Pretty good.
It's not bad for a preseason pick.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I'll move down to quadrant 2 here. So first game in quadrant 2, we've got Anoka, the Bucks, taking on the Burnsville Bobcats, and I believe we picked the Burnsville Bobcats to win.
That's our winner.
I don't remember how we came to that, but
random.
I remember saying, "Hang the banner, Burnsville."
Hang the banner, Burnsville. It was because Hayes basically alphabetically went down the team names, and I think landed on Bobcats.
That's right. So in that game, and Anoka, they took the last bid in Section 3 by beating Andover to get here. Burnsville swept Prior Lake in a 3-game series. I've got Burnsville over Anoka, keeping that preseason dream alive.
Yes.
We've got the next game here, the Rochester Royals and the Air Freight Unlimiteds, or whatever they are.
Yep.
Unlimited. And Rochester kind of had to get through the loser side of the Section 1 bracket, and they beat Elko to get the 3 seed here, if I'm doing this right. I might be doing this right. No, I think I'm right. They beat Elko to get the 3 seed in Section 1. Air Freight, they swept the St. Paul Capitals in a 3-game series. I've got Air Freight over Rochester, and they will be taking on the Moorhead Mudcats. So now moving on, we've got Burnsville and the Minneapolis Warriors, but that's just Lions Pub, right?
Lions Pub.
Do they go by? What do they go by now? I don't know.
Surprised.
They're Lions Pub, the Warriors.
Lions Pub Warriors.
Well, either way, sorry, Minneapolis Lions Pub Warriors. I've got Burnsville over the Warriors. I've got in the next game, I've got Air Freight over the Kitties of Moorhead. I'm a big Mudcats fan.
I am too.
They are a fun team. I just think with air freight and the pitching I know they have, I think
A
they
single
move on.
game on a weekend, it's a tough task, right?
They have, multiple arms, but, one that could strike out 100 in a game, apparently. But
Yep.
so then we've got Burnsville and air freight, and that would be 6 days later. Same thing. Sorry, Burnsville, the preseason banner has to come down. I've got air freight over Burnsville, and then they'll be taking on Meesville. So that is my second team of my Final Four in Class A. We'll move down to Quadrant 3. The North St. Paul Snowmen, great nickname. And then behold, the Minneapolis Cobras.
Oh, boy.
So North St. Paul, they swept the Minneapolis North Stars in a 3-game series. The Cobras swept the Minneapolis Angels in a 3-game series. I've got the Cobras over the Snowmen. And then they'll be taking on the St. Paul Mud Hens. Then we've got Elko, the Express, versus Sartell, the Muskies. Elko lost to Rochester in that loser's bracket of Section 1. And they are then the 4 seed, so they took the 4th bid. And then Sartell, the Muskies, they are new to Class A, and they also had to kind of win it the hard way over the Moorhead Brewers in a 17-10 slugfest.
Wow.
To get that 8B selection. So I've got the Sartell Muskies over the Elko Express. That's what I'm going with there. They'll face off with the Chaska Cubs. So back up to the Cobras and the St. Paul Mud Hens. I've got the St. Paul Mud Hens over the Cobras. That was a tough pick.
Tough call.
Both are very good teams. Reading some of the rankings on the MBA site, a lot of people love the Mud Hens. So I'm going to roll with it. I'll go the Mud Hens over the Cobras. Maybe the Cobras will prove me wrong, and I will have to behold.
It's all bulletin board material,
Right, which is what we want.
We want
teams to get fired up.
We're not anti anyone here on the pod. I think we're just all about just lighting fires.
Yeah, we want get the people going.
Get the people going. That's right.
So Mud Hens over the Cobras, and then we've got Sartell and the Chaska Cubs. I've got Chaska winning that game. Chaska's a very good team.
That's a wagon of a team.
They are, a lot of people are picking them to win it. And I've got them over Sartell. And then we've got the St. Paul Mud Hens and the Chaska Cubs. And I'm going to take Chaska over the Mud Hens. Like we said, they're very good ball club. Both teams are. I think Chaska takes it. So that is my third of the Final Four in A. Down to the last quadrant, we've got the Metro Knights and the Shakopee Indians. Let's see. Metro Knights, they were the only team to win a series without sweeping their opponent. They won a 3-game series 2-1 over Stillwater. And then Shakopee sweeped Egan in a 5-game series. There was a couple 5-game series, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've got Shakopee over the Metro Knights.
A little bit of an upset there.
Yeah, a little bit of an upset. I think if you can win 3, if you can sweep a 5-game series, I think you can win another one.
Yeah, the Metro Knights are a team that I think preseason they had like 39 Division I players on their team, and they just kind of they come and go. Who knows?
Yep.
But who knows what's going to be there for that roster that night?
They were also one of the 7 teams that I missed. So sorry about that, Metro Knights, and sorry for picking Shakopee, but I've got Shakopee over the Metro Knights. Hopefully that's bulletin board material. They'll then be facing off with the Champlain Park Low-Gators. And then down to the very last Class A first-round game, we've got the Dundas Dukes and the Highland Park Beavers. I have, Dundas. They lost to Meesville in that Section 1 title game, which is how they became the 2 seed. And then Highland Park swept the
Dirtbags.
St. Paul Hops. Yeah. Is that who it was? Which ones were
Highland
the Dirtbags?
Highland Park Beavers are the Dirtbags.
We didn't talk about this at the beginning here, or when we were talking about the bracket show, but I can't remember who had said it. Someone referred to Highland Park, the Beavers, as a bunch of dirtbags, and the YouTube comments were like upset about that. They're like, dirtbags? What do you mean?
I think Highland Park even took offense to it, but Hayes, I think you being the historian you are, you have a little bit of information for us in terms of that term.
That term. So I actually have an uncle who played and coached at Long Beach State.
Oh, good for you.
California. Well, that's the reason I know the backstory.
Ooh.
So if you ever watch them play Big West baseball, they're considered the Long Beach State Dirtbags. Now, the school's nickname is the 49ers, but during the Dave Snow coaching era in the late 80s, early 90s, they kind of adopted the name the Dirtbags, and that's actually what the baseball team is known for. Just kind of the way he recruited. He went after a lot of guys that were overlooked, got them the College World Series in 89, 91, and 93, and that's just kind of the style of play, and that's just more of a West Coast style. Get a guy on, you're butting guys over, you're scrappy, you're stealing bases, you're a dirtbag. The uniform is dirty.
It's an endearing term, and I think that went over a lot of people's heads. They're like, why would he say that about them? It's like, well, if you're involved in the baseball world, and especially I guess the college baseball world, you kind of know that nickname. And dirtbags, it just means these are hard-nosed ball players that they do the dirty things to get the job done.
Yeah, and if you don't know, now you know. Mm-hmm. All right, so, get back to the picks.
Yeah, so I've got Dundas over the Dirtbags. Shoot. I mean, that's who I'm going with. We're going with Dundas. They'll take on the Plymouth Hit Dog. Sorry, Highland Park Beavers / Dirtbags. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So
a good branding opportunity. I'd put out a logo next year, maybe an alternate jersey.
City Connect. I think it would be cool.
Absolutely.
So then I've got going back up. I've got Champlain Park over Shakopee. Champlain Park's real good, so I went with them. And then we've got Dundas and the Hit Dog, and the Hit Dog were another team that the rankings really loved. I went with them. We've got the Hit Dog over Dundas, and then I went with Champlain Park over the Hit Dog to wrap up my Final Four. So my Final Four is Miesville, Air Freight, Chaska, Champlain Park.
All right, jump up to that top matchup you got there.
Let's do it. So
first off, it'll take place. That top matchup is going to take place Saturday, August 30th in Gaylord.
Yep, it's a 1:30 start. The next game will follow it right at 4. But we've got Miesville versus Air Freight, and I am taking. And this was a tough one too, because this has been. I mean, how many Miesville Air Freight matchups have we seen? And,
2.
Yeah, and both for the title?
Yes.
I mean, it's fun. It's a real fun game.
I take that back. Shakopee played Air Freight in 2023 at your park, I think.
Yep,
oh, yeah, that's right. Yep, that's right.
I don't want a phone call from Gary Schlepper.
Well,
Air Freight beat
as long as I can look at that picture of his hair, I'm fine with a phone call from him.
That's right.
But, I'm going Miesville over Air Freight. I don't know if people will love or hate that, but do with it what you want.
You talk about that matchup, then you get your second day of pitching, and then that's when other things start to matter. The depth of your lineup, the hitting lineup matters. Your depth of your pitching, your two guy. That's where things start to come into play. So
yeah, and I did, I mentioned that Air Freight does have good pitching. I know Miesville does as well. I'm going Miesville over Air Freight in that one, and then moving down to Chaska versus Champlain Park. This was another tough one to pick, but I'm gonna go Chaska here. Chaska hasn't been so I'm not familiar with how many titles Chaska has. If I'm sure they have one. I would think.
Well, yeah, They have a couple.
They have
They have a
yeah.
couple.
So, but I think it's probably been a little while since they've got one or been in the title game.
Sure.
And I think this is the year they get back to the title game. We're going to go Chaska, the Cubs, over Champlin Park, and we've got Miesville and Chaska, and that'll be Sunday, August 31st, noon in Gaylord, and I'm going to go Miesville over Chaska. Miesville is taking the A title, according to me right now. Hang the banner, Miesville. You are now the pre-state tournament whatever champion.
Well, for how good they looked last year, I mean, it's hard not to jump back on that wagon. I mean, it's a solid team, and
I saw some, and you know, a lot of our friends out there on Twitter who have a lot of opinions and a lot to say. Some of them were talking about, oh, Miesville, you know, what's wrong with Miesville? They're losing more games than normal, whatever. And then I see them in their section playoffs win a section title and score 21 runs in a game. I'm like, okay, it's still just Miesville.
in the games that matter, what are they doing?
Right. So I'm going Miesville. That's the winner. And that's your Class A bracket.
Prognostication. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. I like the picks. I think, you know, you're going to have people disagree with you, but that's the beauty of it. Everyone's got their opinion. So a lot of fun matchups along the way, too. I think there's obviously, gosh, that Miesville and potential Waconia matchup. You've got I kind of want to keep an eye on the Moorhead Mudcats. I think that's a fun one, team.
They could for sure make a run.
There is a lot of talent on that young team up there from Moorhead. And
that's the thing, and we said this during our preseason way too early brackets. We're probably wrong.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know.
Educated guesses.
Prove it to us.
Even though we're not that educated, we're going to throw out our best guess, and that's what we got. So, Miesville coming out of A. Hayes, did you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
Yeah, I can go next.
All right, we are moving on to Class C.
Let's go Class C. I'm going to just kind of go right down the row, spice things up a little bit. We're going to kick it off. First matchup, Farming Flames, Milroy Irish. This Saturday in Hutchinson, 4 o'clock. And I got my Farming Flames. I believe there's one of the teams I would have played for if I could get my release moved there. So, yeah, my heart is sticking with my home Farming Flames, getting the first victory.
Perfect.
And then we got the Quamba Cubs. Are they one of the Whitey's Wish teams?
They are. Yes.
Yes, the guy is a genius. He just got zingers. Well, Whitey can wish in one hand, but the Cologne Hollanders are knock them out in the other hand. I got the Cologne Hollanders representing the Crow, taking down Quamba in the first game. Then we got the Double H matchup, the Hanska Lakers and the Holly Hawks. Holly, I don't know if they're going to be shotgunning too many beers. Well, they'll still probably shotgun some beers after the game, win or lose. It'd be pumped to be there. But I think the Hanska Lakers are on a mission out of the Tomahawk East. Tomahawk East has got some things to prove in this Class C tournament. I got the Hanska Lakers making some noise right away. And then we got the bad boys out of Region 6, the Luxembourg Brewers against the Piers Brewers. So we got the Brew Crew Friday night in Hutchinson, 7:30. Well, the Brewers are going to win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are.
Great pick.
I'm going to go with Luxembourg. I think that kind of way you two talk, they're a pretty solid team. You win that region, you're going to get a 4 seed out of Region 9. I'm going Luxembourg all the way. Slide on down to the LeSueur Braves and the Bank Mighty Bombers. Back in the tournament after a couple-year hiatus. We had talked to Jeremy a little bit earlier, Stender, and he had some rave reviews about LeSueur. And they won a pretty solid region, and I think they're going to win this one pretty easily and move on to the next round. Then we got the Randall Cubs. Might ring a bell. They Sobieski Skis in 2021. I think it was Caleb Strock. They wrote drafty from Randall, the state title. Not sure if he's around, but it doesn't matter because the Leavenworth Mighty Orioles out of the Tomahawk East. They're going to take down the Randall Cubs.
Okay.
That first round matchup. Now sliding to the bottom half of the top bracket. The Dumont Saints are back. Is that old what's his face? Dick Bremer is from Dumont, and then they're taking on the mighty Regal Eagles. Fun play on words. Well, Dick, you're only going to make one trip to Hutchinson this year because the Regal knocking out the Dumont Saints. Regal moves on, and then the matchup everybody's talking about. The Waterville Indians and the Litchfield Blues. The bulletin board material for the Litchfield Blues manager, leaving the Waterville Indians out of his top 10. I've asked the question many times, John, why do you hate Waterville? I'm taking the Waterville Indians. Not so fast, my friend. I'm taking Waterville.
Oh, there we go.
Material you gave him. Sorry.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. And
hey, put that on your bulletin board at Optimus Park.
I just pinned it.
Fire the boys up for me. I don't even care if they send me angry texts. Fire the boys up. All right, then we're going to the bottom half of the bracket. We got Paynesville against the Lamberton Long Sox, and I am going to ride the Tomahawk East in that one too. They're Lamberton knocking out Paynesville right away. Then we got Glencoe and the Morris Eagles playing in Glencoe on Saturday. At least they gave Glencoe a home game, well deserved, even though they're technically just the first round site. And they are a team on a mission. I think they're going to send Morris flying back home, unfortunately. So I got the Glencoe Brewers moving on. Then we slide down to a matchup that's very near and dear to my heart. My buddy Nathan Vole managing the Rosso Royals coming on down to Hutch to take on the Cannon Falls Bears. My Zorba's buddies, Keith Myers and crew, known them for a long time. They're great dudes. They're good dudes. I went to college with Nathan out of Rosso, but I'm gonna go with the Cannon Falls Bears since they were my drinking buddies. They're gonna be a tough one to beat. Cannon Falls over Rosso.
They owe you a pizza from Zorba's for picking them. I think that's part of the deal. I would think.
Sounds good. I'll give rest. They can only get it off on the way. Just jump up on Highway 12. Come a long way over to get over to Hutchinson. And then the Sox Center Titans and the Opal Bears, another Whitey's Wish team, and well, Whitey's Wish is going to die in that first weekend for Opal, too, because I got the Sox Center Titans. They knocked out Loretto in the state tournament last year. Opal, no problem for these guys. And then we got the Piers Lakers and the Mora Blue Devils. I can't go 0 for 4 out of Region 9. I'm going to give the champs, the Piers Lakers, the win over Mora. Moving on to weekend 2. Then we got technically the favorites, Cortland, the Mighty Cubs, and the Pine Island Pioneers out of Region 5C. And we got, it's getting dark here on my drive home. So, we got the Cortland Cubs, Pine Island Pioneers. Obviously, Cortland, the favorites. I'm going to ride them all the way to round 2. I'm going to skip the next matchup, and I'll do that one last. But on the bottom, we got the Wyndham Pirates and the El Rosa Saints. El Rosa was down to their last strike, and I was Jackson Peter, I believe, their shortstop, hit a home run to send them into the state tournament. But I'm going to go with our guys out of Wyndham. And then the final matchup, but it's on Friday night. Howard Lake Orphans and the hometown Brownton Bruins. Jordan Flick. You guys put a stake in my heart, John and Jordan. So I'm not picking either of you. I'm rolling Brownton in that one.
That's fair.
So Jordan and I are spectators after weekend 1.
We broke his heart. He can't pick us. We broke his heart.
I get it.
Yeah.
Mom and dad are split, and now he wants to run away from home.
Yeah.
That's what Hayes is doing.
That's what it is.
Yep, exactly. All right. So now we're going to go to weekend 2, and we'll get moving along with this one pretty quickly here.
Yep.
So we got Farming in Cologne, and I'm gonna stick with my hometown Farming Flames on this one. Pulling off the W over my Crow River Valley League buddies. Then I got Hanska and Luxembourg, and I've said it many times. I'm a big Tomahawk East guy tonight. I'm rolling with Hanska over Luxembourg. Sliding down, LeSueur, Leavenworth. Well, both teams start with an L. One of them's going home with an L, and that's going to be Leavenworth. They're going home. I got the LeSueur Braves moving on. And then sliding on down, who are they going to play? Are they going to play Waterville? Or are they going to play Regal? Well, I am going with Waterville to move on to that final 8 that keep rolling. They're going to ride that wave after beating Litchfield as well. Slide on over to the other side. I got Lamberton and Glencoe. And sorry, Lamberton, I know I've been a Tomahawk East guy, but I'm a Crow guy now. And I got the Glencoe Brewers knocking you out of the tournament. Who are you going to play, though? You going to get Cannon Falls or Sauk Center? I'm going to go with my Zorbas buddies from Cannon Falls. Sliding on down, 2 games left. Piers Lakers, Cortland Cubs. I'm going to have to side with Cortland. I know they're the favorite, and they're the favorite for the reason. I'm going to go Cortland over the Piers Lakers, moving on to that final 8. And then Wyndham and Broughton. I'm sorry, Broughton, but the dream dies weekend 2, and the pirate ship flies. Wyndham on to the final 8. So let's move on to the Labor Day weekend. First up, Farming and Hanska. And unfortunately, I'm going to be heartbroken because Hanska is going to knock off Farming to go to the Final 4. On the bottom part of that side of the bracket, LeSueur, Waterville. Waterville, same thing. You're going to have to head on home because LeSueur Braves are knocking you out to set up a Hanska-LeSueur semifinal. On the other side, it's Glencoe and Cannon Falls. And I'm going to ride with my buddies from the Crow. Glencoe going to the Final 4 right in their backyard. And then they're going to match up with the winner of Cortland and Wyndham. And Wyndham, they're going to steal all the treasure from Cortland. And they are moving on to the Final 4.
Upset alert.
There we go.
Upset alert. Yep, you heard it here first. So we got Hanska, LeSueur, Glencoe, and Wyndham in the Final 4. And I got Hanska over LeSueur and Wyndham over Glencoe. Wyndham going to the state title game against Hanska.
Holy
so that's going to be what? Sunday night at, is that one Gaylord or Broughton?
The A game's Sunday at noon at Gaylord. We should have this pulled up.
I can pull it up. The championship is Sunday at 7 p.m. in Brownton.
Brownton, yep. And unfortunately, the dream dies for our Wyndham Pirates.
Oh, no.
I got Hanska winning it all in Class C.
What
all right.
You heard it here first. So I looked back at all my teams I picked for the state tournament. I got every single one right. So,
excuse me?
Don't double check that. I got every team right in this tournament. So.
No double checking allowed. I will say that.
Don't double check.
I'll say that's a complete lie. Absolutely. But I do like your picks. I think they're fun. I think you had some upsets in there, and with any good tournament, you're going to have upsets. I think there will be a lot of pressure on Cortland to keep up that stretch or that run that they've been on, and they got to win 5 straight. It's not an easy task, especially when you've got all these good teams out there. So it's a heck of a C tournament. We're excited for that. We're on to B. This is it. This is the final group of teams, and it is my responsibility to go through B, and I will do that right now. We're going to start it up. In that first quadrant, we've got Bird Island, the Bullfrogs, and they're going to be taking on the Prior Lake Mudcats. A lot of people liking Bird Island. They were that team that struck out 440 times in one game.
It was a tough game.
And that was just an off night. So I'm going to say that was an off night. Bird Island Bullfrogs will advance past the Prior Lake Mudcats to face the host site, Hutchinson Huskies. the next weekend. A little bit lower then on that first quadrant, you've got the Northfield Knights versus the Delano Fighting Ryan Hayes. And, what a group this Delano Athletics is, to come back, join a new league, going to be, didn't know really what they were going to end up doing this year. We had, questions about, if you lose Max Otto, where were they going to end up? Well, I think they drafted a pretty good pitcher out of Watertown, and I think that they've got the firepower to get through there. They're going to beat Northfield, and they're going to advance, and then that will put them into that next weekend game versus Hinckley.
You better not have jinxed us.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm not giving you any bulletin board material. You fired me up enough. You guys are going to have to find that yourselves. I think you're going to be just fine. We go to the next quadrant. Well, actually, no, let's stay in that top quadrant. Let's go to the next weekend. It's Hutchinson, the Hutchinson Huskies, the host site. They're going to be playing at home Friday, August 22nd, a 7:30 game, and they're going to be facing off against the Bird Island Bullfrogs. I've got the Hutchinson Huskies coming out on top, playing just inspired baseball. Fun story about Hutchinson, they've tried to schedule Bird Island the last 4 years, and they've been rained out every year. Oh. So I don't know if this is some sort of coincidence, but it's just like, destiny. It feels like it. And I've got Hutchinson coming out on top. Well rested, but rest versus rust. You've got that weekend where you've got to be that host site for the state tournament, and you come back that next weekend on a Friday night, and hopefully, I'm not going to say hopefully. I think that they're going to come away with the win there. Then below that, you've got the Delano Athletics, and they're going to then go from their Brownton game to the next weekend. They get to go to Hutchinson, way out west for Delano.
Way out west.
Just a short train ride for them, but they are going to be facing off against the Hinckley Knights. So, Hayes, you are getting hot for Hinckley this year. I don't know if you were ready for that, but it's happening. And in that matchup, I've got the Delano Athletics passing up the Hinckley Knights. People are going to say an upset. I mean, this feels like a Cinderella story here for the Delano Athletics. Hayes, you probably are not enjoying any of this right now as I'm going through it, but
I won't let my guys listen to this podcast.
No. And you know what? You know what happens, Hayes? Because of that, you've got a matchup in Hutchinson in the third weekend versus the Hutchinson Huskies, which, boy, I don't know if you're aware, if you're an outsider, but Hayes will be the first to tell you, it doesn't matter what happens. These games are always tight. Hutchinson and Delano always play each other tight. I am going to give, Hayes, this is the part you could forward on to your team. I'm going to give Hutchinson the nod here in the matchup in Hutchinson on August 30th, an 11 a.m. Saturday game. Hutchinson coming out of that quadrant.
So let me stop you right there, which I'm fine with the pick. It happens, it's going to be a close game. Where would that game be?
That game, that would be a Hutchinson game. That's an 11 a.m. Saturday game in Hutchinson.
I must have read it wrong.
Did you think it was going to be in Delano? It should be. Sorry. Yeah, no, that is a Hutchinson game.
Oh,
so
good.
Gotcha. All right, so then we're on to our next quadrant. We have got the Webster Sox versus the Raymond Rockets. And Raymond's a team that we in Litchfield get to play every year, and they have some talented players on that group. They've got some hitting. I don't know a ton about Webster. Now, the question is, is it our ignorance going to lead to some incorrect picks? Of course.
Yes.
We're going to totally miss on some of these matchups. Webster probably an absolute hoss of a team. I don't know. Raymond, I know them enough. They're a very solid group. They're playoff hardened. They're a veteran group. They know how to win in these important games. So I've got Raymond coming out of that matchup versus Webster. Below that, the Ada A's versus the Maple Lake Lakers. This one's a tough one. Of course, a North Star League team in the Maple Lake Lakers that I know a ton about against the Ada A's, another team that I don't know a lot about. I'll say this, Maple Lake losing their number one pitcher earlier in the year. is going to obviously hurt them in this situation. I see the A to A's coming out of that matchup with the W. We jump up just slightly now. We go back to our Raymond Rockets, and we've got them taking on the true Cinderella, the St. Stephen Steves. And I know we kind of like talked about this in the selection show or the bracket reveal. They hit 6 home runs in that final game against like, Nisswa to like move on to get that state bid. I mean, this is a team that I was told won like 2 regular season league games, and they're just coming on hot. They're playing a good brand of baseball late, and that's when you want to be playing their best ball. Unfortunately, the Raymond Rockets, like I said, a veteran group, I think they will come out of this one victorious, the Raymond Rockets, over the St. Stephen Steves. Below that, you've got the A to A's now going to be playing the Young America Cardinals. I don't think there's much to say here. I think Young America is an absolute machine. I think that's another Pat Sheeta ism, is the Young America machine, as he called it. They are a good group of ball players, and obviously coming out of Section 7, there was some really, really solid teams. Actually, it was District 7. Sorry about that. The Young America Cardinals coming out of there with the 1 seed. I've got Young America beating the A to A's to advance against the Raymond Rockets. And this is where I see my Raymond Rockets kind of coming up against a giant. It's going to be a good matchup to watch, but Young America with the talent that they have, I see them coming out of this quadrant with the win. All right. Now on to the third quadrant. We go down to Cold Spring Springers, Union Hill Bulldogs. I've got the Springers in this one. I think that they're going to cruise. A good veteran laden team. They're going to be an absolute handful for teams. It's going to be a Springer win versus the Union Hill Bulldogs. Below that, the Nisswa Lightning versus Kimball Express. And I think this is a really fun matchup. I think these are two teams that I would want to go watch. Nisswa, unless you've been living under a rock, I mean, this team has been crushing baseballs in the last couple of years in the state tournament. I think it's Nate DeShane, Jeremiah Pepcorn. I mean, these are guys that absolutely crush the baseball. The question is the pitching going to be there to support them? I think there was a joke that you could put a guy on the mound with a 20 ERA and Nisswa would still compete. I don't know if that's the truth, but I think in this one I do like Kimball. I think that's another team that has a lot of veteran players, a lot of Marquarts, and I've got Nisswa over the Kimball Express in the first round. Going up then, we've got the Cold Spring Springers after that first round win against the Red Wing Aces. This is a heck of a matchup. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are two really solid teams. Red Wing always seems to be winning games late in tournaments, but I'm going to stick with the Cold Spring Springers to get past Red Wing. That leads us now into Nisswa versus the Fergus Falls Hurricanes. I don't know a ton about the Fergus Falls Hurricanes right now. All I know is Nisswa still can hit. That is not going to change. I've got the Nisswa Lightning upsetting the Fergus Falls Hurricanes in what maybe some people would say isn't maybe a true upset, just by the seeding. We're going to say that is an upset. So then that leads to the Cold Spring Springers versus the Nisswa Lightning, and another great matchup. I'm going to go Cold Spring Springers. This is a Saturday, August 30th game in Brownton. I've got the Cold Spring Springers over the Nisswa Lightning. And now we're down to our last quadrant. Here we go. We got the Watkins Clippers versus the Foley Lumberjacks. This is a Sunday game in Gaylord. Jordan, do you have anything? In terms of Foley, what do you know anything on Foley?
No.
I mean, we're not well versed in our Foley Lumberjacks. We'll say this: Watkins, of course, they've got pitching for especially the first 2 weekends. They're usually an absolute force. We're going to give the Clippers the edge in that matchup. That brings us down to the Plato Blue Jays and the Princeton Panthers. And I think if you're the Princeton Panthers, you got to be a little disgusted with this draw. I mean, this is a tough
Plato's legit.
Tough group to get in a first-round matchup. The Plato Blue Jays have pitching that is just is pretty formidable. And
well, we've seen that Reese Schwartz will just throw 180 pitches and get you the win.
Yeah,
that's what it takes. He'll do it.
He's a machine, and then beyond him, there's more. There's more pitching.
Yeah.
But I would say in terms of like these first 2 weekends, Reese Schwartz, he's going to get his. He's going to get out there, and he's going to be absolutely a force out there. Plato Blue Jays coming away with the win there. All right, back to our Clippers versus now the Jordan Brewers, a game in Hutchinson on August 24th. I've got the Jordan Brewers. This is another team that is probably heavily favored. It'll probably a pretty sexy pick for a lot of teams. You know, you have the Jordan Brewers versus Waconia last year for the championship in C, and of course with Waconia moving to A, kind of cleared the path. I think Jordan's going to be a real tough team to get by. Jordan Brewers with the win, and that goes now. We've got the one other matchup down on the farthest end of our quadrant. It's going to be the Plato Blue Jays and the New Ulm Brewers. And I know a lot of people love the New Ulm Brewers. There's a lot of talent down there. I just have to say, pitching is going to win out. I think Plato Blue Jays, as long as they can get the run support, they are going to be a tough team to run into, especially if you've got a single game on a weekend. I've got the Plato Blue Jays over the New Ulm Brewers. So that leads us to the Jordan Brewers. We almost had another Brewers matchup there. Jordan Brewers, New Ulm Brewers. A lot of Brewers in the tournament. But we've got the Jordan Brewers versus the Plato Blue Jays. Hayes, do you know anything about either of these teams?
I don't even know if I could find them on a map. So
you've never played either, right?
Would that be their first game or second game?
It would be the second game. It would be the first game of the last weekend for both.
First game of the last weekend, so you got a Tommy Thompson Reese Schwartz matchup. Oh, okay. Just flip a coin. Flip a coin. Because it might be 0-0 after 12.
I'll say this. With that being said, I think the Jordan Brewers have got the edge maybe offensively. I'll give Jordan Brewers the win. That is a Saturday night game in Brownton. If I look at if I see on the schedule a Jordan Brewers versus Plato Blue Jays game, first off, you better get there early because that's going to be an absolutely filled house in Brownton on Saturday night. Jordan Brewers coming away with the win and taking that quadrant. So that leads us now to our Final Four. We have got the Hutchinson Huskies facing off against the Young America Cardinals, and that's going to be a game that is played on Sunday, August 31st at 1 p.m. Both obviously stellar teams. You've got the home team in Hutchinson playing on their own field. I am going to continue on the Young America path, the war path. The Cardinals are going to take that one. If Mike Cutter is listening, I know we interviewed him earlier. We can talk bulletin board material, whatever. Hey, to get to the final weekend as a host team is not anything to shake a fist at. That's a big accomplishment. But I do have Young America going to the finals. In the bottom half, we have got, I got to remember my pick. It was the Cold Spring Springers, and they are going to face off against the Jordan Brewers. It's going to feel chalky to say this too, but the Jordan Brewers, I just don't see them tripping up here. I think they're a solid team from top to bottom. This game is going to be a Sunday, August 31st game, 4 p.m. in Hutchinson. The Jordan Brewers taking the win over the Cold Spring Springers, which then leads us into the championship game, Young America versus Jordan, which...
Yeah.
How many percentage of brackets do you think are leaning that direction?
I mean, I would think a good
Probably a
percentage.
third of
Yeah.
brackets probably
Yeah,
picking these guys. What was that?
That
Hayes?
was a semifinal game last year, so that's definitely going to be a favorite. That match for the championship.
Now here I'm gonna lean on you a little bit, Hayes. Here now, let's say we're in the last game of a championship weekend. Who do you think would have the resiliency or the pitching to power themselves through that?
That's a good one because I have a feeling I know who I would go with game 2. Same thing with maybe Jordan, but you get to the third game, it gets a little. It might be, I don't want to say committee game or an opener, but
Well, are you leaning on a drafty at that point, maybe, or?
I could see why throw on their drafty their second game, and I don't know what Jordan's drafty situation necessarily was. I do like YA's kind of 2-3 guys. Saw them throw this weekend. They were very effective. Kept Plato at bay there for the district championship. Jordan, it could kind of go with a multiple guys as well. Kind of the only grabbing 2 draftees it's definitely a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's not as many teams to pick from either, I don't want to say it gets your bottom of the barrel because I didn't feel like that, especially with our district. I think everybody got a couple solid guys, but you just might be relying either on somebody who maybe hasn't logged a lot of innings this year, or somebody who has maybe a younger guy, younger kid, younger pitcher. If you're going to go the drafty route, so the third game of the weekend that would be tough. I'd maybe give the slight edge to Young America. I like their lineup. Not to say Jordan's isn't equally as good, but I think Young America right now has a number of guys in what I would call the prime of their town ball career. So I'd have to go with YA on that one, just by a slight hair.
I'll say this.
I'm not picking.
You're not picking. I will say this, though. Before you had made that decision, I had already had my decision written down. It is actually going to be the Young America Cardinals coming away with the Class B title. That's who I've got. So let's review quickly. We've got in Class A our pick.
We've got the Meesville Mud Hens. They are the champs of Class A.
Meesville Mud Hens. In Class B, we've got the Young America Cardinals, the team we just picked. Just an absolute, machine. We talked about it. They've got talent up and down the roster. They've got some good pitching. That is our Class B pick. And then Hayes with Class C.
The my Hanska squad taking out our Wyndham Pirates.
A heck of a pick. I really like that Class C pick. The picks you made there. Obviously not loving the first round picks you had with the Waterville, but like I said, we'll pin that one up. We'll let the boys know that there's a lot of naysayers out there, a lot of doubters.
Kind of going back to your B championship, if Jordan is playing in that game, you could see the 50-year-old Scott Hollingsworth take the mound. We saw.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Face a 50-year-old Kyle Mesner, back in 2019 for the state title. So maybe he'd be your guy going against. I want to say maybe a Ormanen or Anning from Young America.
Sure. Well, either way, we'll say this. I mean, going over what we went over just now, all these matchups. There's so much good baseball in front of us, and you jam pack that into 3 weekends. I think there was just numerous fun matchups out there. It's going to be a great tournament. I'm excited. I think the sites are ready to roll. I talked to Cole Flick earlier today, and he said Brownton looks really good out there. Hutchinson, we know what they bring to the table. I haven't gone out to Gaylord yet. I haven't seen that, but I think I'm going to go out to a first-round game on Saturday. I'm going to go watch Raymond versus Webster. I'm going to try to get out there for that one. So do you guys have any plans for any games you want to go see?
Well, I think, there's definitely a lot of good ones to go see. And, we had with DC with the Saints 5 draftees, so I've got to make my rounds.
Support the boys.
I'm a little upset that I have to go to one game Friday night while my teammate goes to another. So I'll have to get the report back after. But
more importantly, which game are you going to on Sunday?
Oh,
Talk
yeah,
about
that's
that.
true.
Talk about that, Hayes.
Yeah,
You're in the predicament.
I'm gonna have to make a Twitter apology similar to how you did. So, yeah, Mom and Dad are both playing on the same day, and
11 a.m. on Sunday with Delano and Litchfield.
The
playing.
brunch game.
The brunch game.
I think, man, I don't know. I have teammates, guys on my team playing in one of those games. I think that's how I got.
Well, and Hayes didn't pick us to advance, and I picked Hayes to
Yeah,
advance. So
yeah,
maybe you
that's
should
true.
just
You know
should
what?
just say, hey, Hayes is going to get to the second round.
Yep, fine. We don't want you. The bandwagon's full. Fake fan.
Bandwagon's full, so I'm gonna head over to Hutch for the brunch game, 11 a.m. to see if you are correct in your pick of Waterville over Litchfield, or if the Blues are gonna advance.
Yeah.
Well, I have some a fun fact about our game Sunday. If you can't make it, you can watch on NSPN. J.P. Doherty going to do our game.
Oh, JP.
How'd you land that guy?
Yeah. We haven't even mentioned this. NSPN carries all of these games, which when did they start doing this? This had to have been like
2020. COVID.
Yeah.
So, for the past 4 seasons, heading into the 5th one now, they've been broadcasting all of the games, and it's sweet. I want to go watch my guys and Lich play on Sunday, but I can pull up on my phone your game. So, I don't know. I get to see both.
It'll be fun. It'll be a good first weekend. I'm excited. Hayes, do you have any games you want to go watch that you saw on that on those brackets?
Waconia Minnetonka is very intriguing to see if Waconia is able to roll out Bezdacek, and if he can hold Minnetonka at bay to get them that second round matchup with Meesville. I'd be very interested to see that one. Class B, you can kind of pick whatever one you want. I don't think you're going to find a false note out there. Bird Island, Prior Lake will be, interesting. Bird Island's been kind of a Class C powerhouse the last few years, and you're running into a team that's technically from the cities in Prior Lake, and maybe they can pull an upset. Class C, I do like the Howard Lake Brownton matchup on Friday night. I think that both teams are going to be that's going to be a great atmosphere, and I think that's going to be a town ball game.
Is that a
real town ball game?
I'm wondering, Ryan Grams versus Jordan Flick, is that a potential matchup? I would pay extra money to go see that one.
Well, you only have to pay $5 on Friday. That's what's really nice about the
what a deal.
$5.
Do you guys know something that I don't, and that I'm starting this game?
They've got to be handing you the game ball.
If they don't fire the staff,
easy.
I'll say it online. You know what? If you want,
Howard Lake has some legit arms, I think, too, and they can be real pesky. And John, you can attest to that.
Oh yeah, they shut us down multiple times.
I think they're good with whoever they go with. I would be ready in whatever capacity. It should be a good game either way, I think.
I'm definitely going to be there as well. So if our listening audience is out there and they're listening to this before Friday, just know that's our plan. We're going to go down to Brownton and check out that game. And if you see us around, if you see us, say hi. All 14 to 17 of you that might listen to the pod, if you see us, definitely don't be afraid to say hi.
I think we're going to, nothing really set in stone, but we're going to try to do some podcast related stuff.
We want to do, we might just do some post-game interviews and just get player interviews. I don't think we'll have, similar to back when we did that All-Star game, we're not going to really have a true format. We might put out after each weekend just a smattering of interviews.
Collection of people we talked to.
Hayes, you got anything else you want to talk about before we head off? I know
We've got to find a way out.
Jordan
of
and
here.
I need to leave.
Yeah.
I think everyone's gone. I just saw a janitor that just walked through the hall. I think everybody's gone from the hidden location, so I think we're safe to go.
I still got about an hour and a half left to get back to Delano from our location we were at in northern Minnesota.
Well, okay, we're giving away a lot of
Northern.
information here. So, no, that's good. Make sure to stop by a couple quick trips on the way. I think Jordan and I will probably do the same as we carpool out of here. But really fun little selection show day. It was fun to do the pre-show, fun to do our little wrap here for our podcast listeners, and we're just excited for state tournament baseball.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Can't believe it's here.
Can't believe it's here. Everybody, have a great weekend. Have a great first weekend of tournament baseball. We will probably try to get something out here next week with some interviews, like we said. But until then, have a great tournament weekend. Goodbye.